Ooh, I like that one. Yeah. You are listening to the Lost Minds. You say it, that sounds better. You are listening to the Lost Minds podcast.
Let's get this session started with a deep breathing exercise. And by deep breathing exercise, I mean, see you on the inside.
Hello. What are you doing? Just making a podcast. Bet you cool.
Crap, I'm chewing on gum, dude. It's not a good idea.
Do you have snare in there now?
Boom.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Got no snare in my headphones.
Boom.
Kind of working though.
Here, can you hold on to this gum for me?
Sure. Do you feel like your ears work better in the morning? 'Cause I was noticing like sometimes like I'll be up and I'll listen. Like when I'm editing something on my computer, I'll be listening to something on my phone, and usually I don't have it in the headphones. But when I do, I remember what like clicks I'm on or whatever. And dude, as the night gets later on, I'll have it down. I'll have it on normal, like halfway, 7 clicks or whatever up, and then towards the end, I'll be like down to like 1 or 2. I'm like, why do I go down so like at night? Like my hearing goes up or something. I can hear. It's like I don't even need to have the more louder music.
Because sound travels faster
In the heat.
in darkness.
In the heat.
In the heat
of the night. Because in that, like, think about it. Yeah, you're out in space, That's why I imagine you're out in space, and so you're just like, hey. Like, it would just go forever. No one would ever hear it. You probably wouldn't even hear it. I imagine you wouldn't hear it, There's
technically wouldn't be able to make noise because there's no
air.
It's vacuum, yeah. There's no air to carry it.
You're just like, it's like the man you're having those dreams where you're like, man, I was trying to get a breath, I just couldn't.
But you were really an astronaut dying in your past life? Remembering it.
Think about like how it reverberates and bounces off stuff. What I was thinking too is because I was like, I wonder maybe it just sound happens to travel a little bit better at night because maybe less people are using Wi-Fi and cell phone signals. It sounds like a stretch. Do you think about it?
You know what I do know? Welcome to the Lost Minds podcast.
That's way late. That's a minute 46 seconds, 3.4 seconds.
It's still pretty good. It's better than like at the end.
One thing I will say about hearing, dude, is when I got that vertigo. Oh, sorry, those clips don't look like they were plugged in all the way. Right there, that one. But anyway, yeah, that's all they hear. When I got the vertigo in my right ear, so what happened is like the dude said it was related to like dry, warm air because I was driving in my truck, constantly like blowing on me.
Sure, there was something pushing warm and dry air in and out of your ear.
in and out of my ear.
So you're in the driver's side, which is the left.
I had the right window open.
Oh, yeah.
I had both windows open, so I was just getting pounded from both sides.
You didn't pick up a hitchhiker or nothing?
Pounded from both sides.
But anyways,
truck.
So like I guess it inflamed my ear canal or something, and it swole up. And there's these like little hairs in your ear or something that are supposed to keep your balance or some shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when it got swollen, those little hairs got all bent out of shape and shit. So then, my sense of vertigo started spinning. Like everything felt like it was falling to the right, or I felt like I was falling to the right. I don't know. The whole world felt like it was fucking spinning. And that lasted for about a week and a half. Couldn't do shit. And then now I feel like I hear less out of this ear.
They're probably like damaged.
Yeah, it probably is damaged because I could hear the audible difference where if I'm holding a pair of headphones on my head, on this side it's a lot lighter than it is on this side, and then if I switch it around, it works the same. And I'm just like, damn it, dude.
Dude, I was watching.
I'm basically useless now, unplayable.
You might be. I was watching videos on like people popping zits and like picking things out of ears. The ears went out because I felt like I had something in my ear after we went like camping because I had those gnats were like flying all over. I'm like, I guarantee they're in my ear because I had watched videos of people pulling bugs out of ears before and shit. So I was watching some more of them and
started pouring oil down your ear.
That's exactly what you want to do when you think there's a bug in your
I know that's
ear.
the worst because I'm like, fuck, dude. And so I was like, I ended up like cleaning them out or whatever with like peroxide and like doing a little bit and I just barely like rinsed them out and I'm like, it feels pretty good and stuff like that And I was like, I'll just get in the shower and wash them out. And so I just started fucking letting the water fall in my ear. And on one side, I felt like there was more in there, so I just let it, and it was like pounding like the shower head, and I must have like done like some damage, maybe like slightly ruptured it or something. Because like I get out and I'm like, holy shit! It felt like I got like punched in the head almost. Like my ear was so sore. I'm like, oh, I fucked that one up. And like when I was watching the videos of it, I don't know why I thought it was like a canal more down like a dog's or something. But when they were like pulling the shit out of people's ears, like bugs would like crawl in there and get like stuck on the drum, and they'd be pulling it and it'd be like the skin's kind of moving a little bit, and then it was like, and when it moved it away, you could see it's like basically like a thin layer on the skin, you know, and there's all like the little hairs and shit on it, and so like. I mean, I imagined it was probably messed up. Maybe my hairs got stuck to it and it got ruptured, and so it was like bruised. Yours were probably like all fucking bent over and then like healed that way. Good as new, my bud. And so like, because it's weird the way that like the earwax, because that's the other thing I thought like I had too much earwax, but it like forms your ear canal almost.
It lines it.
For me, it was the best because I called Teledoc because I was feeling kind of dizzy. And it happened at work. I was sitting there prepping the bottom of a Honda Civic, the rocker. And it's like, as I got up, I felt lightheaded. So I'm like, oh, maybe I just stood up too fast. But it didn't go away. It was just, well, like, at first, it was kind of just like a one wobble. And then like 30 seconds later, it was another wobble. So I tell my painter, I'm like, dude, I'm like feeling real fucked up. And he's like, just call Teledoc, dude, and ask them. It's free. You don't even have to go in. Just ask them. So I go home.
They're trying to make you stay at work.
Yeah.
Well, there was no work anyway. It was just that one Civic.
You can't go just.
So I go home and I call up Teledoc. I'm like, hey man, I'm feeling like kind of dizzy. I'm not 100% sure. I keep wanting to fall to my right, or the earth keeps wanting to fall to my right. And he's like, all right, man, I don't want to scare you or nothing, but I can't help you with that. But what I would recommend is go to the hospital like right now and get your head checked. He's like, because it could be one of two things. And I'm like, fuck, dude. And he's like, I hope it's not this sick, but it could be a brain tumor. Or you could just have an ear infection. One or the other. And he's like, I can't help you with either of them, but I'd recommend going and checking that out as soon as possible.
So the guy was wrong. It was neither, right?
It was neither.
Fuck Teledoc.
I was on drugs.
Yeah,
No. It was technically an ear infection. It was just...
It's like Tommy Boy. You're
swollen.
like, they go up to your boss and stuff. You're like, man, I feel like I got an earache. Does it hurt like right here? And not like up above it, not up here or anything, but just like right here. There's this fucking gash across your head. Yeah, looks fine. Looks fine. So we got to get those. We got a Honda Civic needs prep, and don't even think about talking to anyone else. We'll just shut the curtains. You know, we need to get the dust down anyways. So just like a zombie in there. That's how I feel like they'd have you. You know, I bet they would. I bet
Like a small Band-Aid on it.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah, dude, I bet that's how they would do if, like, companies, if we had zombies, you know, and then, like, after a minute we figured out that they're kind of still, like, people, like, in that one movie, where they still kind of try and interact with them. Dude, they would be able to take on, like, so many mindless jobs, and they'd be like, you're fine, dude, just put a Band-Aid over that stuff. My flesh is falling off. All right, we got to make sure we strap Tommy's arm on, and then it's like, Tommy loses his arm. All right, Tommy, we'll have to take you to our special meeting. Guy takes him out back. Kills them, puts them in with other zombies, because there's zombies.
In the compost pile.
Yeah, it's like, forget it, you know, and then pretty soon the zombies start getting outraged, and they're like, man, we need freaking rights for zombies, dude. And then
Zombie lives matter.
Yeah, and the next thing you know, they got a zombie union. It's like, and it's, I mean, I imagine how it would go, or if, like, say, alien race crashed down, like how it was on District 9. It would probably be only a matter of time before they got into civilization. They'd be like, no, man, we got to, like, give them rights and everything.
They're taking our jobs.
Yeah, like Little Future. Because... I mean, it's probably a good human emotion to be, like, compassionate, you know, and be like, oh, man, we want to help everybody else and stuff like that. But I wonder how weird that would be, like, say it was someone from District 9, they, like, come down and they're like, yeah, we want to help out, blah, blah, blah. Basically, like, kind of mingle their way into society, and then there's some just, you know, maybe ant or rat race that, like, just hijacks other societies and stuff like that. Yeah, you could call them that, a shape-shifting lizard, you know, or, like, different type of people, but... You know, they could just take over. And then
they already took over, dude. We're screwed. Good game, monkey
We'll
people.
have us as slaves. It's kind of like the idea of the lizard people. They
Scientology?
just slowly move their way in, and then next thing you know...
It's Scientology, right?
No.
No, Scientology is like
people?
space.
Scientology is like a weird book written by a weird dude who... All he wrote was fake books, like non-fictions.
Yeah, he's like the most published non-fiction writer.
And his one book that was supposed to be fiction...
Was a critical hit.
Yeah, he's like, this one's better. They're balling, though. Like, they used to have a little area over down in Sugar House, kind of by the Sugar House Coffee, and it was just a corner building. They moved recently. I was walking by it yesterday, and they had a big old picture of their new place. We've moved, down the street. They got, like, a facility now.
Well, the reason why is because, like, to be a member of it, it's not like you pay 10% of your paycheck like the Mormons do. You pay, like, millions of dollars to be a member. And then every time you want to move up a tier or level up, whatever you want to call it, become a higher level wizard, you have to pay more money.
Isn't it, what did they call that? Is it...
More money, more problems.
No, I remember...
More money, less
because I'd kind of seen whatever he was talking about. It's like... They have to pay like $10,000 just to get in, or like to get washed or something.
Yeah.
What the fuck do they call it? They call them like it's like their baptism. They're like, all right, you've been washed, and
They,
then it's like $10,000.
It rain over 'em.
And they like go over your finances and shit too, don't they? Like you become like a Scientologist. I don't even know how that would be in your finances as well. Like that's your schedule in your life.
Do you think they provide financial training and all that stuff? Like,
I think they do because it's called going clear. That's right, when you go clear, because they clear you of all like the bad things of the society. So don't they also have to like do every hour or every day like an hour or two of some kind of community service? So a lot of times they'll go to the place and either clean up the places, Scientology areas, or like if they have a certain skill, they have them do something if it's marketing for them, or stand on the corner and hand out little cards fucking for Scientology.
wow.
And I think it's like
I bet you can pay to not do that.
Like Tom Cruise, huh? Yeah, he ain't out there fucking holding those.
No.
He's picking and choosing the wives he wants, dude. Isn't that the thing now? Like Scarlett Johansson's supposed to be his next wife?
What,
That's
bro?
Lucky.
That's what I heard. That's what the Scientologists say.
Lucky.
She has been summoned to the mighty old Tom Cruise. I wonder if he just like picks through all the people in Scientology.
There's just a catalog. This one. That'd be $1 million. I said this one.
It probably has like the movies planned out and shit too. They're like, dude, you can get like 2 or 3 movies out of here. We got 2 action movies with this one, and probably you can get a romantic.
You don't know how
it.
deep it is in the movie industry.
Oh, it's so true. Like you probably wouldn't even like realize it because, dude, they even do that shit with like you can look at another thing I don't like with the government, gerrymandering and the electoral college and stuff, because there's certain people that understand the gerrymandering and
Gerrymandering?
Yeah, it's where they
Pick certain juries in a court to make it more lean towards your way.
Not really, but kind of. But instead of a court, it's like the city you live in. So like they'll take all of Salt Lake County, and then inside of Salt Lake County, there's a bunch of different districts: Hunter District, Ranger District, all those districts, and that's your voting area. Well, people that are called gerrymanders, they'll go around and ask people, "Hey, who are you voting for?" And they kind of find the areas where you're like, "Man, this is a nice block. Ooh, this block's not." They will legit cut that block right in half for the boundaries. And so if you look at a lot of the boundaries, some of them will they look like weird designs, spotted designs, disconnected and stuff, just so that they can get certain neighborhoods and certain zones, so that they can, with the electoral college, you only get, 5 or 6 little spots there. Well, you can guarantee by just moving and shifting the way the boundaries go that, if we already know that half this place is going to be blue. Well, if we make one half, that whole half, the blue side, that's just one, right? We'll just leave them as one. Let's break this into 4. And we know this whole side's the red side, so we get 4 right there. Boom, we win the electoral college. The state's won. So there's guys that do the gerrymandering, and they can predict if it's going to be a Democrat or Republican winning before it even happens. And so that's why before Trump was even going in, it's it's going to be a Republican. The way it's set up, they've won the gerrymandering. They've closed the most districts. And so people, once you see that, depending on the zone or the area where you're at, you kind of know what's going to happen, or who's going to be voted, at least especially for that area. So when all Utah and stuff, they can guarantee.
So why don't the guys that are opposing it do the same thing? Just split it up into different sections.
Because it's been done over tens of,
millions of years.
Well, 10s, 15 years. So they started trying to set this up 5-10 years ago.
For one party to win constantly.
Yeah, for this, so that this Republican Party would, because it starts. You have to do a census too. So they kind of go around and talk to certain people and see who's putting signs up, and how we have here in Utah, or even West Valley, where you can be in our neighborhood, which is a torn up, shitty neighborhood, and then go down 1 block, and then there's farms. It's what the fuck, it kind of is, because how it was a big farm area, but yet they've gentrified it, and so there's a bunch of like small areas where people are living too. Like they would cut out our little area because we'd probably be more like progressive and be like, dude, we want more like taxes and shit because we're on top of each other, you know. I see public taxes, whatever. You might want them compared to like a farmer who's like there, who's only a few blocks down, but really doesn't come this way. Maybe goes more into Magna and stops at the stores there, but worries mainly about his property, and it's going to be different. A prime example was Denver with the marijuana. Like it was unanimously, it was like, I think it was like 70-something% of the state did not want that. And the main districts like Denver and all that kind of stuff, they were the ones that were gerrymandered. Since there was more people there, they broke them up into where the outskirts maybe got 1 or 2 votes, where like inner city, like Denver, got like 7. So they knew they're all going to win, you know, because they broke them up in District 4.
So it works for the good guys and it works for the bad guys, depending on whoever's doing it.
Whoever does it, and whoever has, and also too, it kind of has to work on the people of the area.
Depends on how many Jerry's you have on your side.
Yeah, a lot of people won't even like try the area. They'll be like, "Oh, this is a red area." We keep the toms and birds out. No.
Man, right there.
That's the whole, dude. You have no idea, like too, like of what is. I mean, we can kind of like talk about gerrymandering, but even then, we have no idea what goes on behind the scenes.
No, for all we know, they're just like, all right, let's see who's the winner here. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his toe. Donald Trump wins. Let's go home, boys.
Kinda. I kind of feel like it is, honestly. Like, there's kind of like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Like, I don't know. It's.
Imagine if you got paid $40,000 to count ballots and you were just like, dude, I'll just say I really kind of liked what he said last time. So Donald got 481. Hillary got 236. Boom. That's what I counted.
Yeah.
Did you count that? We're paying you a salary of $40K a year. Did you count that? That's exactly what I counted. Now I get to go home and enjoy my macchiato and watch Netflix.
And they'd be like, wait a minute. Like, we need to recount something because, like, that's
where a lot of those recounts come from. People are just like,
true,
fuck
probably.
it, I'm going home.
That's one thing that actually, it was during the Al Gore President Bush election, and that's when I remember like my teachers being like, I voted today and stuff like that when I was in elementary, and I thought that was really cool because I was like, whoa, you know, like, I don't know, but it was like one of those things, 18 years old. But then I also was way more, I thought like, you know, I would have, I still would, even if it would go back in if there was like a mandatory like military training
draft
or whatever. Yeah, like if you had to spend 2 or 4 years in the thing right out of college.
You did get your draft number, right?
Yeah, I got mine. I would have went in, you know, if it was like a mandatory thing. I feel like it might actually kind of be a good thing. I would have probably, and I was way more like, I guess, patriotic on that side too. But I remember when they did it, and then they had to do a recount because of the Florida, and I was like, I didn't get that. I'm like, what the hell, you know? And my teacher at the time was like, she was like talking about it, and she explained to me it was like we were in 4th grade or 5th grade or something, and she explained to me the Electoral College, and they're like, well, in the area they take all the votes, and you know they can't count millions of votes, so instead of breaking it in 1 million, they'll just break it up into groups of like 10,000 each. So they'll just take those 10,000, and then they know that's a vote, and then that one guy, so they'll break it down into that. And so instead of having 1 million voters, we'll have 20 votes that count. So you see a state with like 10 or 20. And so regardless of what that guy thinks, the area, if they say, hey, we're voting blue, that guy has to vote blue. Well, in Florida, technically the guy doesn't have to because he can do whatever the fuck he wants. He's the Electoral College guy. So when they voted for him, all they'll be like, we want, you know, we're all blue, Al Gore. He was like, I like Bush. Mark to Bush, you know, and it's like, that was like one of the things. They're like, well, no, we got to recount it. And so I started recounting all the thing, and that's when, because she was for the opposite side, where she's like, that's why, she's like, and I think maybe she was probably letting on more than probably they should have, but she's like, that's why I have lost hope in this thing. You know, how does someone win majority votes but doesn't win the state? And I never really fully understood it until kind of a little bit later on, but I'm like, that is weird. Wait, so one guy cheated? He like said he was going to vote for them and decided not to? And she's like, yeah, and then I have to recount all the votes, and they found out that he had way more votes, but he won the Electoral College. So like Florida had like, I mean, if they would take the unanimous consensus of everybody, it would have been blown out. But with the Electoral College, you know, you can squeeze your little butt in there, be like, all
Dude,
right, I'm
that's
in the
just
Oval
the game of
Office.
life, bro. You gotta learn how to play. Mm-hmm. You gotta learn how to be a weasel in a pit of snakes.
Well, that's why I think it's funny when people like kind of shove off like globalist groups or like, you know, like if you want to say some kind of group behind the scenes, like an ultimate thing, like because you look at like that,
like lizards.
Damn
lizards.
I mean, there's probably a barrier, a fine line. We got to find out where it is. But you could say lizards, yeah, like because that's where I'm like, it could be, you know, because you never
It's
know.
100%, dude. I seen them.
But we do know that there's still like
I see
groups, like secret groups within the government that are like
The Illuminati.
conspiring. Not even that, you know. You could think like Republicans versus Democrats. You know, they conspire against each other. You look at like how bad.
Yeah, but there's got to be something deeper, though. That's just like the skin.
Kind of.
We gotta
but
look
then,
for the bone.
Even with like the Trump things and like the Russia scandals and stuff like that, they're like, oh yeah, Russia's meddling in the election. I'd like you to probably show me a government that's not. You know, I mean, I don't feel like they did that much, but I want to.
Well, you know
can't
how
show
they
me China's
found that
not.
out?
I bet
Well,
China is.
Didn't they find that out because the British were like, "Hey, someone else is looking at your shit because we can see that they can see you," and it's like, so you can see too.
Oh, I think it was because weren't they using like offshore servers or some shit
It was
like
something.
that? See, and that's what's the craziest part too, and that's the other part that blows my mind. Anytime it goes on the internet or anytime something's on the computer, the way I look at it, it's like the ocean. I'm like, there's always a bigger fish. There's always someone
But
smarter out
they
there.
were way smart about it though because they just created even more fake news on top of it
Oh yeah,
to make nothing make sense. You know what I mean?
like a
So it's
almost
like,
like
what do you believe? What don't you believe?
you could throw it out there too to throw you off. Just be like, yeah, give them something to.
Yeah, you can just
I
walk
feel
up
like
to
it's-
someone, tell them the exact truth, and they'll be like, I don't believe you. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like it's been like that forever now. Like the
Even more now.
the
with
truth
the
out
internet.
there is out there. You just got to look for it. But even if you find it, it's not like it's going to be, you know.
Yeah, or even what you want. You're like, that's not it, and it's like, but it is what it is, dude.
I was doing a lot of watching videos on the old Yugoslav Republic and the old Cold War area, and I guess the Yugoslav people, they were communist as well, and so was like Russia, Stalin, and all of them. And a lot of people think that the reason the Cold War might have come to an end was because of the dictator of Yugoslavia. They think he actually might have been the guy who killed Stalin. Because
Like, do you mind if I have a cup of tea with you? Sure.
well, not him personally, but like send an assassin to kill him. Because like the way they found Stalin was he died of a brain aneurysm in his bedroom, and for some unknown circumstances, he wasn't taken to the hospital in time, so he ended up dying. And before that, Tito sent, I don't know if I told you guys this, but he sent him the letter like, "Hey, dude, quit
who-
sending assassins."
Who was the leader at the time?
Of what?
Yugoslavia.
Tito.
Okay.
So he sent.
People? Oh.
He sent him. You know that vodka Tito's.
Oh, yeah, Tito.
Yeah, that's his name. But I guess Tito sent Stalin a letter being like, "Yo, dude, quit sending all these assassins. Because if I have to send one, I'm only gonna have to send one." And
Wouldn't you feel like a pimp, dude? If like, say, like Tito was like, all right, Marconi or whoever the fuck the guy is, or whatever, like, go kill this guy. Just like that guy's got to be the bad. Like, especially if he calls on you to be like, I got a guy. Unless it's him, you know, he just walks in there, hey, walks out.
apparently he died in his study with a brain aneurysm, and nobody even knew he died. So it's like, that's a little fishy, dude. That like, so
How do you
dude,
do that? Do you just grab him and shake him really fucking hard?
I bet they put something in his tea or something, or to his drink, and he drank it and fucking.
Oh, no, it was Colonel Mustard in the lounge with the candlestick. It's like,
No, but I just thought it was insane because you think of the Cold War and it was like building up to this thing, and then another communist country is the country that got in between everybody. Because I guess the way it worked out was he didn't want to be ruled by another communist country. He wanted to be his own, like, independent country, but using that rule of that law of rule. And he didn't want to be on bad terms. He didn't really like the Allies, but the Axis was like pushing him away. Like all the other communist countries were like, dude, you're being a little bitch. You just got to come over here and kiss our feet. And he's like, fuck that shit. So then he goes to America and he's like, well, let's be friends.
why
And
can't we be friends?
so then the
Why
Allies,
can't we be
like,
friends?
they start supplying him with tanks to line his border from the Russians because the Russians are getting ready to attack. So now he's got help from the Allies, but he's also good with a lot of the communist countries because he's also a communist. So he's like in this middle ground during the Cold War. And then Stalin's like, we gotta get rid of this motherfucker. So he keeps sending all these assassins to kill him. And he's like, all right, dude, I'm sick of fucking all these people trying to kill me. And I guess one of the things they tried to get him with was a little music box that when you opened it up, gas would come out and fucking kill you. It's like they were sending all these crazy things, and he's just like, you know what? Fuck, I'm done with this, dude. Send him a letter.
Dear Stalin,
please quit your little bitching attitude.
I already killed Igor, Sergey, and Timnivov.
Man, Igor too. It's like
You should have seen
and
the
he
look
keeps going
on
with
his
the Igors.
face.
Igor, Igor. How many Igors are there? There's a lot, sir. Igor.
I wonder if they could have got him the first time with. He opened up the letter. He's like, "Oh, it's a little dusty in here."
Through the bottom.
A couple fingernails.
What's going on? Yeah, he's like sneezing and stuff. Next thing, he's fucking anthrax.
No, I thought you were gonna say it's their burnt bodies or whatever.
Oh,
They're
shit.
cremated.
That'd
Can you
be kinda
smell
funny.
that? That's Igor number 5.
You can give that to his mother. Dude, the worst part is you're probably like, I got 10 more Igors, dude. You want another one? It's like, send another one.
It's like I got too many Igors. That's why I'm sending them.
It's like,
But they kept failing, though, which is like the crazy part. Because those motherfuckers that were next to him were dedicated as shit to keeping that dude alive. Because he was a gangster during like the First World War and Second World War. Just straight up gangster. Playing that guerrilla warfare.
And that's what's weird about the Secret Service, too, is because it's like basically like a Secret Service, but almost, even when they have like a rebel group, they have a Secret Service. So like almost every group has a Secret Service. That's why I think it's funny on that movie Kingsman, where he's like...
But what is a Secret Service really, though? It's just a group of guys that are dedicated to protecting you.
And you're not supposed to know about them, technically. But that's why, like, it's funny about the Kingsman one, where he's like, this guy's a Secret Service. He's like, this guy's MI6 or whatever. He's like, where's China's? He's like, that's a Secret Service. He's like, shit's still a secret. It's like, you never hear about their special forces, you know, or whatever. And that's kind of where I probably should have been, you know. That's where, like, special forces...
You don't actually even see them, do you?
Technically, they don't have anything. American, very, very large, very good man. Like, you know, that's what almost like how it seems like they play like off that South Park episode. And then they leave, stupid bitch, we take your shit, you know? Because, like, really, dude, mental warfare and even, like, I mean, it kind of splits it, too, where does it fall? Is the pen mightier than the sword? Or is the sword mightier than the pen?
Depends on the situation. If you're safe behind a bunker, the pen is very mighty.
I know you just right out.
If you're in a room together, the sword is a lot mightier.
Yeah,
He attacked me with the pen, so I had to take swift action.
And so it was like freaking Joker, and he's like, the guy swings the sword, he dodges him, puts his head down. The guy falls over.
Onto
What
the
happened?
pen?
Yeah, it's like the pen's sitting there.
That would be nasty. He's like, he's got the pen stuck in his gum, poking straight up. Poof, drops the dude's head on it.
Is that how he sticks it up?
I'm not sure. That's just the only way I thought about it. Unless it's like a really fat bottom pen or something, you know.
That'd
you
be
get a good
cool scene. Squish the gum down, sticks it on there, like, get your gum off my table. All right. It's like, make it, you know.
And the gum stays on the table and the pen's in his face, and Joker picks it back up.
Yeah. It's like, still working on that one. It's like,
dang, dude, that's a good scene. If anybody's looking for a writer out there, I'm pretty good at improv.
I would like to be in a writer's room. I feel like that'd be kind of fun.
I think in like
Stressful.
South Park or Simpsons would be really fun. Just sit there and bounce ideas off.
Especially if you kind of got something to play with, and you can kind of go down that road. I mean, it would probably suck if you had to do it like really fast, but even then, with it being really fast, you get a group of people and everyone just start joking.
How do you think The Simpsons starts? Like, all right, this episode's going to start with them on the couch.
Well, first the guy
Where do we go from there?
looks into the future and he's like, all right, we must come. We got to cover this right now. President, yeah, there's gonna be a president from a guy. Next thing you know,
I did see that where they basically mirrored it. Like, the entire episode was like shit of him actually doing.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, and I watched a conspiracy thing where people said that it's actually like this is someone from Trump's administration because he's like addicted to Simpsons, and so he knew about that's like part of the reason why he wanted to become president. Because he wanted to mimic those and stuff, so they made sure like he set those up. He spent an extra, I want to say it was like $250,000 just to make sure that he could like take the scenes from there and like he had a director and stuff like that. Now, that'd be cool. I don't know if that's true or not.
Wait a minute. So
That'd
they
be fucking hilarious.
planned what he was going to do in advance,
Well, the Simpsons did it, and then Trump was such a big Simpsons fan that he's like, dude, I gotta become president, and then we gotta set these themes up, and everyone will think that Jeff, whatever, not Jeff Goldblum or I forgot the guy that does the Simpsons,
Matt Groening.
Matt Groening, yeah, he'll be look like he's from the future, and so everyone's like, man, how'd you know this stuff? And he's from the future, and he's like, well, I guess I'm from the future. When really, him and Trump are just buds. He's such a big fan, you know. He's like, dude, I love The Simpsons, dude.
He's a lizard, Harry.
I'd love to be a character.
If you were from the future, would you draw cartoons?
No.
Maybe, but what if he's seeing the world and he's like, dude, all we are is just balls of emotion and we just consume shit. And so he's like, dude, we're going to do this now.
All we are is dust in
the wind. You think you'd come back and be like, I'm going to put 50 on Seabiscuit, you know? And it's like, Marnie wins. But I always was curious if, that changes the course of history. Because, say, Seabiscuit's like, man, no one's betting on you over there. And he's like, well, I'll show them. You put a bet down, and he's like, whoa, you got a higher bidder on you, buddy. You're in set to win. And the guy's like, oh, man, I'm nervous now. Fucking loses. Oh, my God, you changed history, And then you lose your bet. And
or it could be the other way around. You put all that money on Seabiscuit. Seabiscuit wins. Now, all those people that were supposed to lose their money to the stadium goes to you, and the stadium goes under.
Unless this is God's world. Because then eventually, down the road, you were set to lose, though. So say, it happens and they win, and then maybe they'll find out that something illegal happened, and then they have to take that money from you, and then it goes back to the thing, and then it opens back up again. And it's like the circle of life.
It's a circle.
Because I was wondering if time travel does it like that. Yeah, so you bet and you win.
No matter what.
You think it's like the final destination?
Kind of. And you're like, woo! And then you take your money and then
hit by a truck?
Yeah, the truck's lighting on fire as it comes to you. And you're like, no! And you're like, I'm going to got insurance on that. And they're like, dude, there's no one who's going to insure $1 million, dude. You're out of luck. And then you're like, no! Because it was...
Who puts $1 million on a truck? I'm suing you.
Because I feel like it would eventually take place. Because do you think you could only... read the future once?
Well, if we're going to bro science the shit out of this, I think anytime you time travel, you create another dimension. So the world that you were on, you were permanently gone from.
Yeah, say you bet $1 million on Patriots and they won the Super Bowl. I feel like you'd be living in it's another
different dimension.
You can be like, well, I know next year they're going to win again. Don't you think it probably won't, huh?
Because your timeline still has to keep going. Whatever you left is still going without you, right?
You can't leave anything.
And that timeline can't change, so a new timeline must be created. So now you're living in a new timeline and everything is different. Since you've technically created a ripple in that timeline by coming back and changing something. Now there's two of you technically in that timeline, right?
How would you have to keep coming back in time? Or would you, if you did that, change the time, then you'd be like, all right, man, I'm going to zip back into the future of my timeline now to see who wins next year.
You wouldn't be able to go back to your timeline.
Or because if you could time travel, could you go to a future realm of the realm you're in right now? Per se, say you fell asleep at the controls like that time traveling movie, and you're like, ugh. And it's like, start speeding up 1,000 years. And then you're like, ooh, this is I have a good enough timing. Or you see something, say the moon crashes in, and you're like, fuck that, I got to get this shit out of here. Hit it back where you fell asleep. And then you're like, all right, man, well, the fucking moon's going to be crashing in here, so I'm going to move my little thing over here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then at that point, it would change into another time zone. And then so from there, would you have to hurry and maybe go into the future a little bit? And be like, oh, shit, dude, I get hit by a car in a year. Fucking come back. And then,
that'd be horrible, dude.
Yeah, at this point, you got millions of timelines, but you're a future driver, I guess.
I think you got way too many timelines there. And for you to actually figure out the timeline that you're from would kind of be impossible.
Or unless
the computer kept track of everything.
But say that's the thing, you don't even care. You're creating your own time zone, but you're just giving yourself that buffer. You're like, fuck, I fucked this area up. I'm now all rich person or whatever. But you've already messed up the time zone, and so you're maybe on the way to lose it. And so you would shoot into the future again and of that time zone, and then be able to get a little more information and stuff and go back in that same time zone and then change the time, mess that one up and create a new time zone and then do it again and do it again. And then say
you're just fucking shit up for everybody.
But it's in your time zone because don't you think say that's you're like fuck and then you can go forward back. Would that be a time zone in itself?
Every time you went back, you'd be creating a new lane of reality in a sense
for everybody else, right? Or
for everybody else, and your representative person of it. So if you go back in time before you got into the time machine, there would technically be two of you there, and you might be fucking it up for yourself on that timeline.
Yeah, with like yourself though, like, because don't you think you're on a specific timeline yourself? So like, if you look at like Doctor Who, he comes back and sees himself or whatever, but like he's in a time zone that is able to be free of time, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So even though he's like, I fucked up this one, 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 that guy never left his time zone ever, even though he's been zipping around,
Well, in Doctor
Because time is relative to himself, right? So
well, in Doctor Who, the reason he sees himself is because he knows he was there before. So when he comes back, the present him knows the past him was there. The past him doesn't know he's there, so the future self avoids the past self. So the past self, no matter what he's doing, will never see the future self. Yeah, he has a good memory.
See, and do you think that guy right there, he's like, he's aware of his future and past self? That's a specific timeline himself, right?
For himself.
So, like, do you think, like, I think that's how it would be exactly then with us, right? So, like, if you kind of got your timeline left, right, left, right, left, right, where they're doing different things.
That's why
the time zone just like cutting through the middle of them.
Yeah, but like let's say he did something to interrupt the past self, he'd be creating a paradox where he shouldn't be there. So a paradox would be created if the future self met his past self because his past self never met himself there. So
would he create a paradox in that own universe?
It would split the universe right there by him creating himself, seeing himself. It would create another new alternate universe.
Do you think?
Or it would drive old you insane.
You just know it's going to happen, and you just like do like a million of them, maybe 1,000 different times.
Just keep crossing yourself,
and then know all at once, but you slowly know that you're going to merge together, and it's at planet Earth at like 2012, and then all of a sudden, all the freaking Doctor Who show up. And then they see each other.
I think they do that.
And cause a rift. It fucking like turns the fucking planet into who knows what. Like wherever they're at, Do you think they could do that? Like one ultimate rift of like a million different time zones or time dimensions come in together at once and then open it up. Would it become the same time zone? I wonder.
That'd be nuts.
Because I'm always like screwed up on it. Because if some people, if you believe like the Einstein thing where time is relative. You could be going light speed, or you could be doing whatever speed you're at. That the time and everything is relative to you, regardless. But there's a lot of people that don't believe in that. They'll be like, "Well, no, because it's not like that. It's
like
it's a set of waves." When you die.
So you mean, let's say the furthest ahead, Doctor Who, the one that's further ahead than anybody else, got into his time machine. Went back to every single other Doctor Who that he could remember that was in a certain time zone and gave them a note, like dropped a note in front of them before they actually walked there telling them, go to these coordinates at this time. And he did it to every single one of them. And then he went to those coordinates and so this would be creating a paradox in a sense by him dropping the note there that they never seen before, technically.
But wouldn't it be like Rick and Morty where there's different versions of him?
No, it would all technically have to be the same guy.
But I think they would be different though, right?
Because different versions.
Because, like, say
Gay Who, there'd be
the one guy runs off and trips over.
No. There wouldn't be. No. It would all be the same guy.
Whatever. Say that other dimension guy ran off and tripped over a rock and threw his knee out, and he had to get surgery, and he fucking had a bum knee.
Then all the ones following him would all have bum knees.
Not unless the future one, he'd be good. He'd be like, he's ahead, setting it up.
No, because the future one would be the guy in the past with the bum knee.
I don't think so.
You can't get... If the past guy breaks his knee, the future guy can't have the new one.
Different dimension Who's.
Yeah.
No.
Because, they're a totally different Who, right?
No, I think we're
Dr. Seuss
there's a Doctor Who universe which all works on one strand of tape, except they're jumping around everywhere on there.
And say you make that tape... kitty cut, like make a big.
You have to first create a paradox for that to happen.
Or say it's like you just tap the shoulder, and so like the person slowly. You just every episode you just end up like, why do you always go back to this stupid park? Because, and then all of a sudden, once you've like created that time rift, where all of a sudden every one of them goes right back to the same park, wouldn't that like pop the radar or something of like what time is?
Well, you would all know that you're doing it.
Yeah, heck yeah. But you don't know exactly what it might be, especially if like
especially if you planned it like I'm going to be here at 3:15 every day, and then
is there an evil version of Doctor Who?
Say you do it every day, like in the very first
Kind
time
of.
you've gone and done it, he doesn't know why you're doing it. Like the very first Who, compared to like if you've done it 100 times, then the 100 Who's is like, man, why am I doing this? I know nothing's going to be there, and then say like the 1,000th Who's like.
There are other Time Lords, but the planet that the Time Lords come from, their planet got put into a dimension in between dimensions. And then there's only like one other Time Lord who was alive, but he was at the end.
So say like it popped open, and then right as all the Who's are looking at each other, and the oldest Who
drops a grenade.
Yeah, fucking shoots the first Who. Bam! Right in his head. Would it be like...
It would be over. The timeline would be over.
A snake?
No,
it'd be like chasing him down, trying to catch up to him, and he's like, I'm staying ahead of the time now because he's like getting erased or something.
But he really wasn't. The first one was behind him.
Oh.
Shoots him.
disappears.
Because I imagine it would be something like a Rick and Morty because, I mean, with Infinity, you know, so I imagine, say, like, there's another parallel universe where there's, like, a Who doing the same thing.
That's the way I see it.
So
it's like a barcode.
A
There's
gazillion
all
Who's doing it. You're like, they're all time traveling in this fucking dimension. This dimension's time traveling. This one, holy shit, you know. Like,
in Doctor Who, it's not really like, it's just a one-track thing. So you've got the beginning and you've got the end. And you could travel anywhere in between that. If that makes sense. Because his spaceship can travel through space and time. So there's a beginning of the universe and there's the end of the universe. And he could travel anywhere in between that. I mean, he could travel to the end and it's just a void, and then he could travel back, but there's nothing there and there's nothing in the beginning. There's no, like, I don't think I've ever watched an episode where he's got an alternate universe where he, like, maybe there was one, where he travels to an alternate universe and there's a different Doctor Who there doing different things.
He's wearing a different color lab coat.
But everything is in one timeline. So all the Doctors are living in one timeline, doing their own thing on different things, but it's all the same guy.
in that dimension? Like
Yeah, in that one timeline.
Say, like, so it hops through a wormhole.
That'd be so
would it be
funny,
like,
though, because he'd be like, oh, I'm so smart, I can go back and forth in my timeline. And then another one appears. He's like, yeah, you know, there's dimensions.
Yeah, there's levels of this shit, bitch.
There's like a gajillion of them.
But
it's like,
he does
that
a good...
was the special needs Doctor Who.
Oh, I could see that before he, like, learned how to... Oh, wait, you haven't learned how to... Instead of
Dimension
time
hop?
travel? Yeah, you haven't learned how to go through space and time? Yeah, well, yeah, I have.
You've been going hot dog
Not
all
this
this time,
space,
man.
not this time.
You can go hamburger.
Yeah, go hamburger style.
You've only been doing hot dog. Damn, dude, that makes me kind of hungry.
Well, that's the idea of, like, what the heck is that with, like, if it would be infinity amounts of, like, if it was the idea of infinity, there would be, like, Rick and Morty, and a million amounts or infinity amounts of, I guess, U's. So, like, you'd be like you, yeah, like, fucking one leg you, black hair you, fucking one eye you, all those, like...
Dr. Seuss you.
Yeah, like, all the weird versions of it, and, like, say you were to, I don't even know, if it was, like, Jet Li the One, where you went through, started killing them all and taking all their power, and there's a handful left, and then you got all together and went into one area.
And fought to the death.
And you're like, everybody take a piss now! It's like... Like, gazillion U's pissing all over the planet. They're like, ah! Like, you could unite things like that, you know? Like, that'd be like an unshakable army, like the Rick and Morty thing, when they have, like, dimensions of Ricks and stuff like that. I mean, I wonder if there's, like, another dimension on top of that, you know? Because there's, like, say there's...
There's a dimension where you guys all got together in that dimension as well, and then now your two dimensions smash together,
Yeah, but all
and
these-
there's a war.
It's like another counselor of Ricks with another counselor of Ricks, and you're like, what the fuck? And then, like, you realize that there's, you know, 100 dimensions in each one, and then there's, like, 100 ones of the hundreds each. You're like, oh my god, there's more than 100,000 different dimensions. And it's like, pretty soon you have a million different dimensions with each one's got 100,000 dimensions in there. You're like, at least that's the idea of infinity would keep going and never stop, right?
You just have an all-out war with more people teleporting in.
Yeah, it's like those crazy things
You're not Rick.
You're just zooming in, seeing fucking, you know, you zoom all the way in, it's like a grid, and then it zooms in, it's a city, and then it zooms in, it's a house, and then it zooms in, it's you, and then it zooms in on your eyeball, and then it zooms in, it's your cells, and then it zooms in, it's like...
And it's another universe.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and it's then another universe, it's like, whoa, shit, man! It's like, whew, then it's like, again, yeah, you're like, whew, going through the stars, it's like, looks like the atoms, but instead it's universe.
What if we are just living on an atom that's on the, like, the freaking tip of a hair on some freaking dude's butthole?
Dude, we could be.
Or we're just like, wow, life's so great!
Horton Hears a Who or something style, or like I guess. What is
Except
that?
instead of his
That's
ear, we're
cringe,
on his
too.
butt. Just right there, right next to the freaking plumbing.
Right.
It's so great down here.
The galaxy is on Orion's dingleberry. It's like, what? It's like, we're getting all these random rocks coming from out of places. But, dude, for all we know, it would be just like that. Like, you see those planets like Betelgeuse and stuff like that star. Oh, man, it's like big as our solar system.
Yeah, dude.
And so you think of like
Vivi Cephi?
Yeah, so you think of that fucker, a huge-ass thing if it had a star the same size. Okay, let's just make a comparison. It's as big as our thing, so there's like our universe. So there's planets there that are about the same size as our universe. So there's probably like organisms or like, I don't even know, little hedgehogs running around the size of our planet. We're like, but we're over here thinking not, because, I mean, I don't know, it's
Because
huge.
we're
For all we know.
We're the chosen people created by God, okay? There's nothing better than us.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
our destiny.
Hey, look
We're
no-
made in his image.
Look no further. That's all you need to know.
Why should I look any further, Brick? You preach to me. Are you being selfish?
Yeah. Don't ever look further. I want all the curiosity and knowledge to myself. No, don't be inquisitive. Don't try and learn
I like to write books and put them in my library and lock it up
forever.
forever. I call it the Library of Admir.
And then the ones I don't like, I burn publicly, or tell them that they're bad, and give them 1-star ratings on Audible, and tell people that it's the devil who have written this book.
Dude, honestly, I'm thinking about starting a religion, and the religion's going to be that the actual Bible itself was written by the devil to trick people, and if there was a real God, that he wouldn't actually write a Bible because he would just need your faith
Yeah.
to keep him going, and that would be the Holy Church of Faith.
Technically, you could say that the devil wrote the Bible
He did.
because
Join my church, Brian, and I will show you
God
everything.
didn't
Yeah.
write
Only a
anything.
small percentage of your paycheck a month.
People wrote it.
We could rule the world.
That's like the idea of Gnosticism. That's their book is like that, where the devil is written. The opposite is like it was like the test book, and people that are falling for like the devil's trick aren't like they're failing the test. But dude, I feel like it would be like that kind of too, honestly, where
The devil wrote the book, and he's tricking everybody. Well,
Yeah.
everybody that believes in it is going to hell, dude. I'm telling you.
yeah, it's like you give your kid all the answers to the test, and then you hold their hand all the way up the thing and be like, "Good job." It's like, no, you want to see how they do. It's like they know what's good and bad. Okay, let's see if you do, and then they do something good. Oh, you do. Okay, you've won your fucking golden ticket to heaven, or maybe not. Oh, you didn't do that. You cut someone's head off.
But at
That's
what
bad.
age do you test them? Because
Their entire lives is a test. You'll fail sometimes.
test them at like 12. I mean, I was a little shit at 12. I'm
And that's
fucked.
part of it too. That
You know what I mean?
can you learn and grow? Can you find a mistake,
Can you
not find a
adapt?
mistake?
These are It's a points-based system in my church. See, you
Admir,
might grow.
accumulated 100 million points, but you have negative 274 billion points. So
Answer one
Wrong
simple
letter.
question. They'd be like, answer one simple question.
Which is
Why are bananas the shape they are?
to fit in our heads.
aerodynamic for my throat.
Wrong. Pull the lever. Ah! You must really suck down there in hell.
Dude, I feel like that would be it, honestly, because dude, you could easily make a church or religion like that too, like, and if it was full of little tests and things, and say, yeah, you're an evil
how many
person.
women I'd have, dude? That's the only reason I do it for. I mean, all my followers will go to heaven, but I sure shit won't. Got to be like, Admir, you were on the right path, bro. You were on the right path. What did you do wrong? I'd be like, I got greedy.
That's how you get.
Well, you were honest. Well, come on in.
Come on.
That's how you get all the ladies, dude. You tell them like, hey, if you're promiscuous and you get out there and practice this thing, and you're going to hell. And then so they're like all these people out there practicing and stuff. And he's like, perfect, dude. I'm getting some experienced ladies up in this motherfucker. And they're sending them all down there and stuff like that, to God's mainland. And he's like, ladies, experienced people this way, non-experienced people up the escalator. And they go up there and they're like, hey, what do we do here? I'm sure I saved my whole life. Yeah, we still got to learn this whole little bit here. So, all right, let's start by having you take off your socks. What? Because think about that's the idea I always have a problem with in the religion is like the idea of that good and evil. Oh man, this is good, this is bad, whatever it is. You go through all these tests. For some reason, there's always this idea of like, hey, this is Big Daddy will think this is good. Big Daddy will think this is bad, whether it's the God or the devil. But in his mind, it's like, there's a good and bad too. So he can decide, like, God's will, oh, that was a bad thing. Oh, that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. Why does he have good and right? Why is there a sense of what's bad and wrong? Like, if he has a sense like, oh man, you can't be doing that. There's like the idea of a higher self. There's the idea of a good out there, and he's like, oh, you can't be doing that. That's bad.
It's like a dog peeing in the house,
or it's like he's got a God. And
it's like dogs pee on the ground, right? They don't have toilets.
You rub their nose in it, and you get out there. You throw them around. But just think about that, like a God that is supposed to be all powerful, almighty, all seeing, all that kind of stuff. Still is subjective and still uses a lot of his decisions and things like that based off of what's good and evil. It's like, oh, so you have a sense of what's wrong and right? Why aren't you just doing it? Well, this is how I do it, fuck it. But like for some reason, there's still like this idea. So that's what always brings me back to that question: who's God's God?
There technically isn't a God because he sacrificed himself for our sins, so he no longer exists.
That's right. Your mind can't. That's what they always say. Your mind can't really fathom what God is. It's just this ultimate thing, being blah blah. But the universe itself.
If you could be an animorph, what would you be?
I'd like maybe do something with flight, maybe an eagle.
Fly like an eagle.
And then you can get shot down if you're a bald eagle.
No, I'm just goddamn America, dude.
I would be a redwood. What, dude?
I'll be here for a while.
All right, boys, I'm setting up root.
Like the mighty redwood. This one's perfect. Let's make a tunnel. It's like,
that's my crotch.
You have people every day like standing in it and stuff like that, and you're just sitting there like, I'm gonna get rid of you, and you're just sapping a little bit, and the ranger comes every day and just cleaning it up a little bit, taking the sap, and you're like, fuck. You can be able to do anything.
You can morph back to a person just before they cut you down. The guy's like, looks up, you're gone.
You're just butt naked.
It's got to be like, what?
Hey.
A day a minute. It's like, just going, the day is spinning, and you're seeing little ants moving around you really fast, and it's like the sun's going around. So every like minute or second's a day for you, because like what? A tree
that would be pretty cool. That technically would be a form of time travel, dude.
You'd be like, fuck yeah, it would be. And then say you would become an ant. It's like, talk about like time stopping. It's like,
it's like almost slow. Imagine going from a redwood to an ant in one. You're just like time's going. Everything just stopped moving. People are just frozen. You're like
run around like a fly, yeah, because the fly is also, and then you're moving at like a totally different like space and time, the way you can move your body, and then you're like your life, I got fucking 5 days to do this, baby, or whatever, however long you live.
Lying on a piece of poop. As soon as I get done eating.
Yeah, almost done. It's like, die over. That's it. It'd be the weirdest thing. Oh my God, Henry, look at you. You're getting so fat and healthy looking. Man, it was good seeing you. We'll bury you good. And it's like, dies, because like when a big ass fly, it's like dead. Like,
but the big ones are the most annoying, the ones you can hear.
I'm overweight.
They're probably just like flying by. Kill me. Fucking, I want to try again.
I want to try again. Dude, I wonder if it's like that where like you have timelines to live, right? So when you're dead, you're in this queue, and it's like things spinning, and it's got a pie chart of how long you get to live.
Oh.
So if it lands on one of the little slivers, you get to pick a bug. It's like spin another pie chart of what bug you get to live that lives that long. If it lands on one of the bigger ones, you get to pick like a human or an elephant or something that survives. You're like, yeah, woohoo, person again. And then there's a chart of where you get to be born.
Dude, that'd be the worst.
And there's this little sliver of like living in the America, and everything else is just big old black area. Ting, right in the little America area. Woo!
I know. So like you're like, what side of the line? What side of the line? It's like just barely on the side of the line. Dallas, Texas. Fuck yeah! Fucking almost got over there in Juarez. Like, that's the part that blows my mind. Like with Juarez and like El Paso, it's like a line, dude. I'm like, this is the same. I'm like, way the valley set up. I'm like, this is Salt Lake City. This is Salt Lake Valley. No. There's a line here, and there's two different people. It's like, what? You mean a river that we could all swim and play in and stuff like that? Yeah. If you're on this side, you're okay. If you're on that side, you're not. You're like, what? We're breathing the same fucking air. We're kicking the same fucking dirt. It's like, this is weird. But, it's like a separate...
That's all it is, dude. Just one line dividing everybody. And a couple pie charts. One's on 30 seconds. Oh, shit. One lives for 30 seconds.
Yeah. That's why I find so much of that stuff, like, so lackluster. Like with
Dragonfly
people,
larvae.
Like, I don't get, like, even the race things and stuff like that, too. It's like, you just wake up one day like that. The Rolodex card went through. Ding, 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 ding. There's all your attributes. You just wake up. The oven's done.
I mean, it might as well be like that, right?
Think about that. People, they'll be like, so if I'm LeBron James, what's up, dude? I'm a big-ass, tall, fucking athletic, black dude, all these kind of things. And now, all of a sudden, like, people are like, hey, man, it's like all of a sudden there's a size difference. Oh, yeah, he's got to have the sports, Hey, don't be racist because, this is the color skin they have, all that kind of stuff. Or like, but all those things, you did nothing. You did 0% to earn it. Nothing you did was fucking like...
You spun a wheel?
Yeah, you just wake up. And so that's the thing I don't get when you just wake up for someone to be like, oh, man, you're useless. You're like a small little white guy. You can't play basketball or whatever you could say. But it's like...
You don't got your Nikes on. That's why you can't
That's like predetermining that person. Like that person makes 0% of that. Like if it were to be someone who's like overweight, you're like, okay, well, you let that happen compared to someone who's like...
No, he didn't break his free. He was born like that.
I got big bones.
Yeah, I don't have the time to fucking go to the gym and fucking... It's like you could talk to people about that shit. Oh, yeah, okay, like I want to go sit there and move weights for like an hour and stuff like that and then eat a salad. Dude, I can barely even find food that I enjoy. I have to eat this fucking chicken.
Have to.
Chicken's actually good.
And
Just doesn't have to be...
My mouth pleasures.
Because a lot of those times, dude, you'll hear people do that same shit like on things that they can change. Because things you can't change, like, whatever it is, the cards you're dealt with, the dirt you're born on, the fucking... You did nothing to earn that. People are like, ugh. But things you can change, people will legit, like, talk out exactly how they would do it. And be like, I have no idea how to do it,
Mm-hmm.
It was like working out.
But I mean, if I went back to school and I learned a better
I'm going to have to go all the way back
path
to school and do that shit again. It's like... Yeah, you just fucking...
I mean,
you just said how you're going to have to do it. That's what they did. That's what they had to do. I'm not going to spend 2 hours in the gym fucking every day for 2 years just to lose it and then gain it.
I got a better idea.
That's what they did.
Just don't spend the 2 hours in the gym and spend 2 hours fucking every day. Boom. Because you were like, I don't want to spend 2 hours fucking every day. I'm like, whoa.
You're like, whoa. Depending on your abilities, you come in here, you could get a pretty good workout.
If you join my church,
Dude,
you can get a pretty good workout.
It reminds me of those Curb Your memes for the people with his name's Louis Theroux, and he was doing a documentary on this cult, and it was a family cult, and in the cult, he's like, I heard a story of how Jonathan, or whoever the husband, had to consummate with Harry, the son's daughter, and he's like, it was a story I don't think I was supposed to hear, and they're like, oh shit, like kind of slipped to say that like the guy's been fucking all the son's daughter, or like, wives and stuff like that. And so when he found out about it, that's what he said. When the guy found out about it, he felt the need to explain it to the guy who was doing the documentary. And he's like, well, while I was there, he's like, I was like this, and I was laying on the ground, like pretty much forced to the ground like this, where God was like, you must consummate. And he was forcing me down, and I knew that unless I wanted to have pain inflict on the family and everything, that I had to do this ask of God.
Damn.
And then so the documentary guy, because it was like they actually have it for a Curb Your meme. And then the camera's like got a close up of the dude, and then the documentary guy's like, so why did you have to do it consummate more than once? What was how many times did you get to pray, or the message? And the guy just sits there and slowly gets a little smirk come up on his face. He's like because right when the guy's like, so why do you have to consummate twice? He just starts smiling, like fucking busted, But then he's like, oh, it's God's like said it to me. But the way right when you catch him in that look, you're like. Pff, busted, because he's like, of course I got to fuck a bunch of times, dude. They're the young ones. I'm the old ones. This is my cult,
Oh, that'd be so horrible.
And you're like,
speaking about cults, I still haven't even looked into that one that we think is a compound. I'm talking about.
oh, the one over there, yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm sitting there driving around on 4-wheelers, and I'm like, yo, Brick, what's this? And he's like, that is a compound for like religious people. And I'm like, what? We couldn't get to it because apparently they fenced it off like a million miles away.
Yeah, and then it's all like treed in now.
Yeah, they've got like trees, like really dense trees around the area, so you can't see into it.
And they got their little bit going on.
Get a drone.
Yeah, I know, huh? That's what you really got to do, and spy in there.
Yeah, right. They'll shoot it out of the sky with a shotgun.
That'd be funny. They're throwing sticks at it. But
It's like The Village.
that's what
like
we
Avatar.
were thinking. We kept saying like the village. They're like, is that a plane? Or they wouldn't even know what it is, huh? The elders said we can't go to the fence line. And so
Not even the fence on a tree line, because the tree line's in the middle. There's like a square tree line, and there's like this huge like sniper zone area where it's like nothing but clear
when
grass.
they start running, they're like almost make it out.
Nothing to obstruct the sniper.
And then they'll die, and then the next person will get born, and they get to experience the compound. Because going back to that idea of where you're like, where the bug dies, does it go through the wheel again to see which experience it gets to be in? It's like, I kind of believe that in the sense of, I heard this thing with Alan Watts. He's like, say it was a Big Bang or whatever, it's the universe gets created like that by God pushing a button, whatever the hell it is. And then bang, we're here. We got all this stuff. He's like, just imagine it like you're throwing ink on the wall or paint, that's the thing. And it's like, whoosh. And even the little tiniest dot on the outside, he's like, that is an expression of the universe that happened all at once, which, could be us or you. You're that little tiny dot coming up on top of the planet, And technically, everyone gets their chance, but you only get to experience it. And then when you die, then it allows for someone else to come out of the universe and experience it. And so that's like, the idea of when you die, your experience doesn't necessarily end, but you've used your experiences, and the things that need to help someone else use experiences will be absorbed, if it's your nutrients or whatever the fuck it is. And so everyone gets to experience it all at, different times, their own different times. And I guess ultimately there is just like a connection between the universe. So like the idea is you go down, your experience is done, the stardust goes from your body, comes into the next little rat, and then the rat pops up, and the rat goes eaten through the sewers, but it gets to experience life,
I thought when you said rat, I thought you were talking about like another person, like another rat.
I was gonna go with the rat, but you never know. Maybe your body breaks into 14 rats and 2 slugs, and an earthworm, and that earthworm fucking helps settle up and fertilize the area of Central Park that
what I found out
looks at or something.
you could do is you take a stick and you put it under the ground, and then you rub another stick next to it, and worms will come out of the ground, and you can pick them up because they think it's a mole.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just take 2 sticks, and you have to stick one into the ground a little bit, and then the other one you rub it against it, and you keep doing that, and then all the earthworms will come out of the ground.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
If you ever need to go fishing. I don't know why I thought of that, but...
That's cool.
What the
I
hell?
should show you my grandpa's thing when he had us go get earthworms for him.
With an electrical thing?
Yeah, just a little fucking battery electric motor, and stabs one thing in the wire, stabs one wire in the ground, and all of a sudden it's like the little worm's like pull them out. It was fucking random. But think about that shit, dude. They have like that's their universe, They don't even have eyeballs. They're just like,
What if we did
moving
that to
through
an
the dirt.
ant farm, like one of those big red ones? You put up a battery and you just turn that bitch on.
fill it with water.
That'd be so scary, dude. How many ants would come out of there?
Dude, it'd be millions. Like, when he was there was only one ant. He's, like, sitting there barricading the door. There's no other ants on this ant farm except for the one, and he's, like, putting her stones on the thing. Brick walks up the stick. Bitch. And he's like, what? Why would you do that?
Yeah, moved it over and then put a piece of it was like a candy bar there. Leave, come back, fucking they've moved the door. They're all out there attacking the candy bar, trying to get to that shit, I guess they're like, there's no more food for the evening. It's like barricading it. Just kidding, back to work, bitch. He's like, oh, man.
He yelled down the tunnel, guys, there's food out here. Shut up and barricade the door. You're not
Yeah.
going to trick us again.
Yeah. We've already chosen you to die this evening. So die like a fucking ant. Because, dude, they probably just go through them like crazy. Mm-hmm. I think it'd be sick, though, to, how people pour that, iron casting down in there to pour a clear one. Or, a resin. Catch them all in there, frozen. It'd be fucked up. But then when you pull out the resin cast, you see them all in the middle working, carrying a little beam.
They all have pitchforks and stuff, or
hats.
what are they called?
You have pickaxes.
Pickaxes and shit. You're like, oh my god, they actually do look like ants. From the movie Ants. Not like ants, but the movie Ants.
That'd be so funny. The little
There's like
helmets
soldier
on.
dudes running with little guns. Frozen.
There's little babies getting helmets and Barker. Soldier. Barker. Soldier.
Little helmets and a pickaxe.
It's probably so confusing. That's why I find it so weird when people just sit there and watch anthills and they're like, yeah, this is how ants are. This is the one. This is that. Dude, I don't know. It would be weird. I wonder how long it took for to figure out. I mean, they probably cut up a bunch of ants to be like, wait, there's only one female? these are all like dudes, and they're all workers, and until they get pissed, and then
You
they
got it
all
backwards.
fight. And
There's
it's
only
like,
one
what?
dude, and they're all females.
Nuh-uh, that's the bees.
It's ants too. Bees
Wait.
and ants are all from the same family.
Oh, and then they have just the drones or the
Yeah. Then the males come out and they're like, and then
They-
they kill them.
They just sit in the hole though, right?
They pull them in and they tear them. I think the male ones are the ones with the wings. They rip their wings off and shit.
Death by snoo snoo.
Yep.
Hey, I mean, it ain't a bad life, dude. You know, they're
Kind of
helping
is,
out.
dude.
It's a bug's life. Imagine
Amen.
if that was a bug's life, huh?
Yeah, you don't have to do shit, dude. You just
Damn, Pixar.
Imagine if people were like ants. There's these like kingdoms of just women, right?
harems of
And then every now and then there's 30 men that harem produces, and then they're like, go out and find another harem and mate with their queen.
No,
But
right.
the way to get to that other queen is you got to run through a desert with no water, no nothing. Only one of you might survive. So it's like, go! And they poke you out the door, and you're just butt naked with your little glider. And you're out there looking, and then you find another one. And what they do, they rip your arms off.
One
And they
at a time.
solder them so you can't run, and your legs. And then they pull you in without arms or legs. They make you breed with their queen. And then they throw you outside to get eaten by other bugs.
You get eaten, the next thing you like die, and then you're like, whoosh, and then you're like, you get born a human, dude. Fucking the breath of life, right? As that breath of life goes out of the ant, goes right to it, and you got chose your Rolodex card, like human. You're like, yes, very small human. You're probably gonna be like ant size. Fuck, ant size human. Well, moving on up.
And
Like,
then the
slowly
universe works in mysterious ways. You're a little kid sitting there with a magnifying glass, burning the ants
The exact
that
same
tortured you.
going. Yeah. Yeah, they're like, why are you doing that? Why are you being rude to ants? I don't know. I just have, for some reason, I just never liked ants. There's like,
Specifically these ones.
yeah.
Just this ant farm right here. They're just like, ah!
I have an overwhelming feeling of good inside me. Yeah, just for this one, though. It's like, just burning them.
There's like one main one. It's like the captain that captured you. She's like, ah, flipping you off. Fry her.
Imagine what that would feel like, though. The burning sensation from a magnifying glass.
It'd be instant. You'd instantly die. Unless it just hit your legs. It would just instantly singe them.
Yeah, is it just me or is it hot in here? It's like,
Isn't that
just
what it is
watch
on
it.
Ant's Life or whatever? He's like standing underneath it.
like incinerates them or whatever. It's like, don't look in the light. It's like,
They just instantly pop. Dust.
because I haven't done that for a while. What do they just like roll up and curl up in a little ball or something?
Yeah.
That'd be shitty. Like some alien ship just flies over us and it's got like a hollow inside, and they're like, it's like a piece. Aliens, we are here. Let's look over the glass area to see what we can see. It's like a tourism one or something. Fucking the sun just goes right through the glass bottom of the ship. It's like starts torching all the humans. He's like,
shit,
oh
get out
shit,
of here.
no, we're friendly aliens. Oh, we're not very smart aliens. It's like,
It sounded to be British alien. We're not very smart.
Whoops.
where's that accent from? They're like, it sounds like the Beetlejuice area. Yeah, very good, very good.
Oh, God, dude.
But until that day comes, I guess we'll never know.
We might.
We'll have to do research in the meantime. Maybe we'll just wrap this bitch up.
I was going to say, it's like that scientist who was looking for a person to witness his death or whatever, or to try to communicate with him. So he found a person who'd be willing to communicate with him, and then he committed suicide by, like, leaving the gas on. And he said he was going to visit the lady to see if he could talk to her from the afterlife, and he never visited her.
So yeah, I got $50.
That's what happened to the experiment. He's just like, well, dude, you never know. I mean, it was like,
He could still be around.
yeah, and,
maybe.
and
It's
you
just
might go
yelling and
somewhere.
She can't hear him.
Yeah,
I'm right here.
it never fully did it, but you
For the
could go
rest of
somewhere
her
and you
life,
never
he's
know.
haunted her.
It could be like way badass, like a paradise. He's like, fuck, $50 doesn't do shit for me now. Here we're in a world of freaking witchcraft and wizardry. I gotta learn my magic or something. And so, fucking money would have no meaning.
Talking about witchcraft and magic, should we go make some drinks?
Yeah, mix up a cauldron, magical potion.
I'm down for some
Like back
vodka
in-
and orange juice.
I have new.
Orange juice.
Cool. Well, yeah. Well, hopefully you're thoroughly confused on what time, space, and travel is, just like us. And till next time, when we will have the ultimate answer for what life is, all in one tiny little button.
We will. We'll keep it down to 15 minutes. That's how much time we'll need.
All right. Well, go go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button.
5 stars.
And, yeah, touch a kid.
It's hard.
I was waiting for you. Whoa. No touching children. No touching children. Unless it's your own children, you pat them on the back for doing a good job or something like that. And then you keep strictly only eye contact and nothing homosexual. You know, you don't want to try and have your kid catch the gay or something. So...